We scroll past thousands of pictures a day, barely giving them a thought. But behind some of the most ordinary-looking photos lies a truth so dark, it changes how you see them forever. From unsettling historical artifacts to modern snapshots with chilling backstories, we've gathered the photos that were never meant to see the light of day. Today we're digging them up. Each one holds a story more terrifying than the last, and they prove that some things are better left in the dark. Let's get into it. 26. The Lawson family Christmas portrait. This looks like any other family portrait from the 1920s. In December of 1929, a tobacco farmer named Charlie Lawson took his wife and 7 kids into town, bought them all brand new clothes, and paid for this formal studio picture. A pretty big expense for a working-class family back then. Just days later, on Christmas Day, Charlie murdered his wife and 6 of his 7 children before taking his own life. His only surviving child was his son, Arthur, who he'd sent on an errand just before the rampage. For decades, rumors have swirled that the motive was a dark family secret involving his oldest daughter, Marie. But the real reason for the massacre remains a terrifying mystery. This portrait wasn't a celebration, it was a final chilling document of a family about to be destroyed from within. 25. The last photo of Regina K. Walters. This might look like some edgy punk rock photo from the 90s. A teenage girl, hands up, looking defiant. But the raw fear in her eyes tells the real story. This is 14-year-old Regina K. Walters, and the man holding the camera is the serial killer Robert Ben Rhodes. After abducting Regina and her boyfriend, Rhodes killed the boyfriend first. He then forced Regina into this black dress, cut her hair, and took this picture in an abandoned Illinois barn just moments before he murdered her. It's the last known image of her alive, a haunting final moment captured by her own killer. 24. Victorian child portrait. At first glance, this might seem like just another stiff portrait from the late 1800s. Families often posed their children in front of painted backdrops, hoping to capture a memory that would last for generations. But look closer, the child's expression isn't innocent or playful. 23. Columbine security camera footage. At first glance, it looks like just another grainy security feed. 2 blurry figures moving across a high school cafeteria. But those shadows aren't ordinary students. They're Eric Harris and Dylan Klebold, caught on tape inside Columbine High School on April 20th, 1999. Armed with guns and homemade explosives, they had already begun their rampage by the time this camera captured them. The eerie stillness of the frame, rows of empty tables, vending machines, fluorescent lights, contrasts with the violence about to unfold. It's not a posed portrait or a staged photograph. It's an unfiltered mechanical witness to one of the darkest moments in American school history. 22. The Amityville Ghost Boy. In 1976, famed paranormal investigators Ed and Lorraine Warren were exploring the infamous Amityville house, where the DeFeo family had been murdered. A photographer named Gene Campbell set up an infrared camera to automatically take pictures during the night. Most of the film was empty, but one frame captured this. It looks like a little boy with glowing eyes peeking out of a doorway. Believers claim it's the ghost of John DeFeo, one of the murdered children. But skeptics are quick to point out that one of the investigators on the team was also in the house, so the eerie figure might just be a living person after all. 21. The Heaven's Gate Cult. At first, it looks like nothing more than a strange group portrait. Ordinary men and women sitting together, dressed in matching clothes, smiling faintly for the camera. But this image hides one of the most infamous tragedies in modern history. These are members of Heaven's Gate, a cult led by Marshall Applewhite. In 1997, they believed that by leaving their human bodies behind, their souls would ascend to a spacecraft they thought was trailing the Hale-Bopp comet. Within days of this picture being taken, 39 of them would be found dead in a California mansion, all wearing identical uniforms and brand new sneakers, lying neatly in rows. The casual calm on their faces in this photo is chilling, because we know it was a portrait of people who had already chosen to die. 20. The Bengal Famine, 1943. This image was taken during the Bengal Famine of 1943, when crop failures, war policies, and colonial mismanagement combined to starve millions. By the time the famine ended, as many as 3 million people were dead, not from bullets or bombs, but from the slow, relentless grip of hunger. The photo doesn't just show hardship, it shows a world where survival itself had become a lottery. 19. Al Capone mugshot. In 1930, the infamous gangster Al Capone sat for this mugshot. Known as Scarface, Capone ruled Chicago's underworld during Prohibition, building an empire on bootlegging, gambling, and violence. For years, he evaded justice through bribery and intimidation, until the government finally brought him down for something unexpected: tax evasion. This photo captures the face of a man who was both feared and untouchable, a symbol of organized crime in America's darkest chapter. 18. Hindenburg disaster. May 6, 1937, Lakehurst, New Jersey. The pride of German engineering, the Hindenburg airship burst into flames as it attempted to land. In less than a minute, the massive Zeppelin was reduced to a burning skeleton, falling from the sky in front of horrified witnesses. 36 lives were lost, and with them, the age of passenger airships ended. What was meant to symbolize the future of travel instead became one of history's most haunting warnings about ambition and hubris. San Francisco earthquake, 1906. In the early hours of April 18, 1906, the ground beneath San Francisco shook with unimaginable force. Buildings crumbled, fires erupted, and chaos consumed the city. For 3 days, flames devoured entire neighborhoods, leaving more than 80% of the city in ruins. Thousands lost their lives, and hundreds of thousands were left homeless. The earthquake didn't just shatter the streets, it reshaped San Francisco forever. 16. Ted Bundy mugshot. This isn't just another mugshot. Taken in 1975, it shows Theodore Robert Bundy. Ted Bundy, the man who hid behind charm and good looks to lure his victims. He confessed to killing more than 30 women across multiple states, though the real number may never be known. Behind that calm smile was a predator, calculating and ruthless. This photo doesn't show a monster, it shows how ordinary evil can look. Titanic lifeboat survivors, 1912. In the freezing darkness of April 15, 1912, lifeboats drifted across the Atlantic after the Titanic sank beneath the waves. Survivors huddled together, shivering in silence, staring back at the empty horizon where the great ship once stood. For hours, they clung to life, surrounded by icy waters and the haunting cries of those who never made it. 14. Apollo 11, moon landing, 1969. On July 20, 1969, humanity took its first steps on another world. As Neil Armstrong descended the lunar module and placed his foot on the surface of the moon, billions watched in awe back on Earth. The landing wasn't just a triumph of technology, it was proof that the impossible could be achieved. We're just over halfway through the list. Which photo has been the most unsettling for you so far? Let me know in the comments below. 13. Wright brothers' first flight, 1903. On December 17, 1903, at Kitty Hawk, North Carolina, the Wright brothers made history. Their fragile-looking machine lifted off the ground for just 12 seconds, but it changed the course of human history forever, ushering in the age of flight. 12. VJ Day in Times Square, 1945. On August 14, 1945, as World War II came to an end, New York's Times Square erupted in celebration. In one iconic moment, a sailor grabbed a nurse and kissed her, a spontaneous act that came to symbolize the relief and euphoria of victory. 11. Victorian Horror Theatre, a staged glimpse into the macabre world of Victorian entertainment. In an era obsessed with death and the supernatural, theatrical performances often blurred the line between art and nightmare. Here, a woman recoils in fear as a skeletal figure looms behind her, a chilling reminder of how the Victorians embraced the eerie and the grotesque as part of their culture. 10. A child's drawing of home. This is a photo of a little girl named Tereska, taken at a home for disturbed children in Poland in 1948. She was asked by her teachers to draw a picture of home. While all the other kids drew houses, trees, and families, Tereska, who grew up in a concentration camp, drew this: a chaotic mess of spiraling lines, The drawing is a heartbreaking look into the mind of a child who experienced unimaginable trauma. Her idea of home wasn't a place of safety or comfort, but one of pure chaos and terror. 9. Mysterious Victorian Women, 1800s. This haunting photograph from the late 19th century captures 4 Victorian women dressed in dark attire, their expressions solemn and enigmatic. Each holds symbolic objects, a broom, flowers, and feather fans that add to the eerie atmosphere. 8. Inside an Auschwitz gas chamber. This photograph shows a concrete wall covered in scratches. For years, these have been presented as the fingernail marks of victims inside a gas chamber at the Auschwitz concentration camp, desperately clawing at the walls as they were murdered. 7. Blanche Monnier's rescue. The woman in this photograph is Blanche Monnier. This picture was taken in 1901, right after police rescued her. For 25 years, her own mother had kept her locked in a tiny, dark room. Her supposed crime: falling in love with a man her mother didn't approve of. When she was finally found, she was severely malnourished, covered in filth, and hadn't seen the sun in over 2 decades. This photo captures the horrific result of years of unimaginable abuse and isolation. 6. Soldier with shell shock. This haunting photo from 1916 shows a soldier in a trench during the Battle of the Somme in World War I. His eyes are wide, unfocused, and he has this terrifying, vacant smile on his face. This is the look of shell shock, what we now know as PTSD. He has witnessed horrors so profound that his mind has simply fractured. That smile isn't one of happiness, it's the look of a psyche completely broken by the relentless trauma of war. 5. Bonnie and Clyde death car, 1934. This bullet-riddled Ford V8 became one of the most infamous relics of American crime history. On May 23, 1934, the notorious outlaws Bonnie Parker and Clyde Barrow were ambushed by law enforcement in Louisiana. Their car was showered with over 100 bullets, instantly killing both. Number 4. The Salem Witch Trials illustrations, 1600s. This haunting illustration captures the chaos and hysteria of the infamous Salem witch trials in colonial Massachusetts. In this scene, a woman stands accused of witchcraft, defiantly raising her hand while others shout and point, and one figure writhes on the ground, supposedly under her spell. The BTK Killer. In this stark mugshot, Dennis Rader, infamously known as the BTK Killer, stares blankly at the camera, the mask of suburban respectability stripped away. For years he lived as a church leader, husband and father, all while secretly binding, torturing and killing his victims. This haunting image is not just a photo of a man, but a chilling reminder of the hidden darkness that can lurk behind the most ordinary faces. But he was eventually caught, not because of these photos, but because he foolishly sent a floppy disk to the police that they were able to trace back to him. Chris McCandless's bus 142. Deep in the Alaskan wilderness, far from roads and cities, stood bus 142, an abandoned relic that became both a refuge and a tomb. This rusting shell marked the final chapter of Chris McCandless's journey, a young man who sought freedom in the wild but never made it back. For decades, the bus drew travelers and dreamers, standing as a haunting reminder of the thin line between adventure and tragedy. The final hours of the Romanovs. This photo shows the children of Tsar Nicholas II of Russia in 1918, during their captivity after the Russian Revolution. Even though their lives were completely uncertain, this picture captures a rare moment of calm. This is one of the last known photos of them. Shortly after it was taken, the entire family was herded into a basement and brutally executed by Bolshevik soldiers, bringing a bloody end to the Romanov dynasty. If you found these stories as unsettling as I did, be sure to like this video and subscribe for more deep dives into the unknown. Now I have to ask, which photo will be sticking with you tonight? Let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching.